Hello, everyone. Welcome to Reality Hour. It's been a while. Some shit has gone down. We are going to address some of the things going on in the world, but for the most part, it will be America's Got Talent as usual. But joining me for this podcast is my co-host, Eric. How you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing good. Past 2 weeks have kind of really sucked for everyone. So some people more than others, of course. I just wanted to open this by saying we both believe here that Black Lives Matter and we support the protests that have been going on. We're going to try to keep doing this podcast as usual and try to provide a bit of a distraction from the hellscape that is the news. And now let's move on to something we can all agree on. Howie Mandel is the worst. Intro sequence now. And here we go.
So we are going to be talking about America's Got Talent. We are back here, Eric. America's Got Talent is in the reality TV landscape. It's kind of like the kid that just it tries, but it can never quite get there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't find these first 2 episodes to be particularly terrible. Probably because I fast forwarded through them and didn't really go in depth into all the stories and stuff. But yeah, I mean, so a little bit of a format note. So what Adam and I decided is that I'm just going to watch everyone. And I'm going to pick 6 acts from each of these audition episodes that I feel like I have something to say about, ever good or bad, or just something to say about. Because there's a lot of these acts that I could just talk for hours about, but not get anywhere, and it would just be me filling words in rather than actually discussing things. So we're going to actually do something fun, which is we're going to just cover the acts that are actually interesting.
Yes, Eric kind of screened the acts that we're going to be talking about tonight. So good and bad can come of this. But I trust Eric. I think he picked 12 solid acts, 6 from each episodes. That we will kind of be going over. Like I said, this is covering both episode 1 and episode 2. Who knows what's going to happen with these auditions kind of moving forward. There is kind of some excitement to the season. I will say that maybe like the finale will be on the stage. You know what I mean? Like
it won't. And if it is, there won't be an audience, but
maybe it would be like a small audience.
There won't be any audience.
All right. Well, I actually think it would. I think they will have it on the stage at the end.
I think they'll have it on a stage, but I don't think there's going to be an audience. I think it's just going to be an empty studio.
I mean, the auditions kind of have just started. If they've, well, just kind of a bit. I would say like to ask the acts to quarantine before.
I just don't think there's any way it's really going to possibly work. So. And that's realistic. And until there's a vaccine, which doesn't come until the end of the year or early next year. So,
yeah, this is like American Idol kind of. At least they made it through Hollywood Week. Can you imagine if there was no?
I mean, the other thing is American Idol is just singing. That's a lot easier to pull off remotely. America's Got Talent is going to be a complete mess remotely.
Yeah, how are they going to do like the next rounds? Like
I don't know. But hopefully it has without an audience, it's gonna feel a lot less fake, which will be nice.
Mm-hmm. What else? I'm just looking at my notes. I mean, Simon Cowell actually said the coronavirus shutdown won't stop America's Got Talent live finals.
It'll make them a lot worse, but
what?
It won't stop them.
What?
The subtext is it's going to make them a lot worse, but it won't stop them.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, Eric, these 2 episodes, what did you think? Did they deliver? Were they strong? Were they?
They were. I was kind of underwhelmed, but I was also kind of underwhelmed last year, so it's not really much of a difference.
So my overall thoughts from this episode, it's exactly what it was last year. Like there's very little the word that comes to mind for this is formulaic. It kind of it checks the boxes. Simon is delusional. Simon is delusional for many different things, Grace says in the chat. But you got to be more specific here because there's a lot of different things. But like I was saying, overall, none of these acts really caught my attention or really got me, I would say. There was some that I thought were okay. Overall, I just wasn't impressed. It just, like I said before, the show has just become formulaic. Like Howie Mandel says, this is the best season of all time. It probably is because they like rewire his brain so that he just doesn't remember, and he just sees the same thing every time. The problem is it's just the same stuff every year, and there's it pitches itself as a variety show, but the variety is just the same thing. We got the choir with the story, we got the kid who sings the soul songs, we got the magician who's they. Mm-hmm. Is it just me, Eric? Is kind of what I'm thinking? Is it just me being like too cynically turned off?
To some extent. I mean, it is starting to feel pretty damn similar each year. So it's not just you, but I think it's been going on for longer than we've noticed it for.
Maybe that is possible. But I mean, I did, like in the past, I've recently watched some older seasons, and it is like a different show. Like when some like the tone down of the sob story is the actual kind of it wasn't overproduced, and now it just feels super.
It was always overproduced, but less so.
I don't know, but like I said, are we doing golden buzzers this season on the podcast for Eric and I?
Yes.
All right. So how does this work? Is it just one each?
Yep.
All right. Did someone get your golden buzzer this season?
This 2 weeks? Nope. I'm saving it.
The one thing I am wondering is because they were filming auditions kind of right when the coronavirus started. So one of the things America's Got Talent loves to do is they love to bounce around. They love to have like, this was from the first episode. This was from the first.
All of the things until they get to the part where they have to empty the audience. They'll do all those first. And they'll do the ones without an audience. Then we'll do the ones from home.
I was kind of thinking like, are they going to do like one episode with the audience and then they're going to be the audience again, and then it's not going to be the audience? Or you're just saying they're going to?
My guess is they'll go through all the auditions that were in front of the audience first, and then they will go for the ones that were not in front of the audience in the studio, and then they will go for the ones that they had to film at home. So
usually America's Got Talent has 5 audition episodes. Would you say 5?
No, it's like 7 or 8.
That's really bad. Anyway,
correct, but it is 7 or 8.
What I was kind of getting at was, at what point of those, however many episodes there are, at what point do we start going into different territory here?
Episode 4 or 5 is my guess.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, so like I said, we are going to be going through these 2 episodes. We were going to be talking about 6 from each, 6 contestants each. So let's start with episode 1. It is Bad Salsa is the first act that Eric said we should watch. What did you kind of make of this one, Eric?
Great dance act with which got me right back into the spirit of why I'm a little bit sour on America's Got Talent, which is the editing for this with all the slow-mo is really annoying, as always. But having said that, I think they're clear contenders to make the live shows.
Yeah. What I'm going to say on Bad Salsa is they're solid. They're good. Gil in the chat says hi. Hi, Gil. They're solid, but they're not a winning act. This is an act that at best makes it through the first cut of the lives, and then I think they're done. And I don't know. This is just, I don't even think maybe they do make the lives. Like, this is one of those acts where kind of It's not an act.
They have history, which is the other thing we forgot to touch on in the headlines that you thought we had, which is that a lot of these acts came from other shows and were already on other shows. So it's champions all over again.
That was another problem. Was that the case in older seasons? Like Bad Salsa was, I think they were both on like a different show, but in older seasons, was everyone kind of like plants?
A lot of people were plants from a very start, but not everyone. It's been more people being plants lately.
These 2 episodes, it felt like everyone was a plant. At least the ones that you told me to watch. There was like maybe 1 or 2 outliers, but everyone else kind of was very planty.
Yeah, basically.
All right, but overall, Bad Salsa. I mean, it's a dance act. Their dances they're solid act. Like they're not untalented. They're 100% talented, and they could put on a show. But on the America's Got Talent stage, this is not an act that wins. It's not an act that goes far. At best, like I said, they're looking at top 20-ish, and I don't even think they make it that far.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who are we talking about next? We are talking about Malik Dope Drummer. When I first saw this, when Eric first sent me this name, I don't know, none of you guys watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, but there's one character, his name was Marek, and there was a whole episode when he pretends to not be Marek and he goes by the name Malik. And I just kept thinking of that. He went by Malik Blishtar. His name is Marek Ishtar, but it just took me back to it. That said, this dude is a drummer. I think he was a street performer, and he is an America's Got Talent act. He is an act that this is the only kind of stage where he could be on. He is a 100% super talented dude. He does percussions like I can't even.
And he was doing backflips and shit while he was doing it. Honestly, this was my favorite act of the premiere. Probably not going to win, but I could see him in the finale possibly. I mean, very much like a Brian King Joseph type, act.
I don't know if I would agree with that. I think this is an act that maybe could suffer from. It's the word isn't saturation, but like when you watch it too many times, when the performances.
I'm not so sure. I see him as a finale contender, not a winner, but possible top 10. I think.
I don't know how much it translates to a bigger stage, but because I'm worried that the show.
They're gonna put a lot of stuff around him. It's gonna work.
No, but like the producers could kind of overflow the stage. Like they
they will, and it doesn't matter.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know what this kind of act. Like I said, I enjoy it. I think he is maybe the most talented single person on the episode.
Yes.
Like
yes.
Undeniably super talented. My problem is I don't know how well this will translate. Like I'm just worried because I can see someone like buzzing him, like Simon saying, "Well, this was the same thing I saw." You know what I mean? Like I see some.
I'm not so sure. We'll see.
All right. Well, let's talk about Ryan Tricks. Ryan is a magician, which is a perfect name if you're a magician. I mean, just right off the bat.
I think it's a stage name. I mean, it has to be. Otherwise, it's just too perfect.
He very much reminds me of. First of all, he was on apparently Britain's Got Talent.
Was he?
I think he was.
I mean, I'm assuming he was. I mean, all these people were on other shows.
Yeah, if he's British, if there's a British contestant on this show, you could just assume they've probably been on Britain's Got Talent. He very much. This is what I was kind of getting at earlier. A lot of these contestants just they evoke someone else from like a previous season. So Ryan very much reminded me of the bartending guy from last season. He was Australian. Do you remember his name?
I do not.
This was last year, Eric.
I know. I know exactly what he looked like and sounded like, and I can't remember his name.
If someone's in the chat and wants to help us, you should know who we're talking about. He was anyway. So Ryan does some card magic. He has Howie and Simon on stage. I will say at the beginning, I was very unimpressed with this. For me, whenever a magician does like a trick, I don't know if this is just like me being like a party pooper, but they always take out the deck and they say, "Here, look at the deck. See, they're all different cards." I'm just like, I trust you. Just skip that part. Just say they're all cards. I get it. You don't need to show it to me. Just do your stupid trick. But Ryan's trick wasn't stupid. It was actually like I said, the start was slow, and then he kind of does some mind effery with kind of poking Howie's hand, and then Simon feels it, or it was vice versa. What did you make of Ryan?
I don't necessarily know how they did it. I've seen similar tricks where I know how they do it.
I saw a similar trick with X on Britain's Got Talent.
But that's different because X, it was the chair because of where they felt it. I don't know how you can make him feel it on the top of his hand or in a place where the chair is not touching him. I just don't know how he did it.
The super cynical side of me says they were in on it.
I don't think they were in on it.
I mean,
my mom thought they were in on it, but I don't. There has to be a way.
Maybe he's just a magician. Like he's.
No, there has to be an explanation. I don't know what the explanation is, but there has to be one.
I don't know. Overall, though, I would rate the overall trick kind of a B. Yeah, Grace says in the chat, Ryan was on Britain's Got Talent in 2013. He didn't make the live shows though.
That'll change this time, I think, possibly. Who knows?
I don't know. I wasn't blown away by him.
I wasn't blown away, but it was good. I
kind of walked. I just walked away going, solid trick. Don't like. It was just a little bit too slow for me, and I was kind of. I also just. I feel like I've seen this kind of, like I said, I've seen these people before. Like I feel like I'm watching like I've seen this before. I've seen this dude in someone else's body doing kind of similar stuff. But it was a B for me overall.
Okay. Let's talk about Archie.
All right. So Archie served 37 years in jail. He was apparently
for a crime he did not commit.
For a crime he did not commit. And now he is on America's Got Talent. And Archie kind of sums up, he's the perfect representation of an America's Got Talent contestant, where what he went through, it's terrible. It's terrible. And the show kind of wants to, it is more his story than his talent.
Absolutely. But in this case, because the Innocence Project is getting exposure, I am A-okay with that. Because they do great work.
I don't know. The cynical side of me just does feel like the show like a little exploiting the guy's story.
A little bit, but honestly, again, because the Innocence Project is getting exposure and help, and hopefully donations from this, it's worth it for me.
There's two ways of looking at it. That all aside, just focusing on his talent and what he put out on stage. I think this song was, I love this song. It is a little bit, I always think of Bacon when I hear of it. Like I just always think of that performance. Mm-hmm. The talent itself, it's fine, but it doesn't matter because as long as he's saying on key, I think he's getting a standing ovation.
Yeah. I'm torn on this one.
What?
Because the thing is, he has a good voice. It's not spectacular, but it's good. And yeah, he's not my favorite of the episode and not my winner, but because of the Innocence Project is getting donations because of it, I'm happy we saw him.
All right. Well, that's fair. Overall, it's a terrible thing that happened to him. Like just reading about it, I can't get past a little bit the ickiness of the show kind of exploiting him. That's kind of for me, like, because it does feel like a little bit like that, and I feel like I don't like the kind of the show to take advantage of something like that to kind of, maybe that's just me being too cynical.
Not necessarily, but I mean, if something good comes of it.
If something good comes of it, then that's great. I still think that's great. But like I said, I'm a back to basics kind of person with America's Got Talent.
I mean, would I prefer no stories and just be about talent? Yes, of course I would. But if we're gonna have to have sob stories, can they at least help people? Yeah, this one will help people.
Yeah, that is fair. I don't know. I'll defer to you. I do agree with you. I'm maybe just looking into this a little bit too much. Anyway, who are we talking about next?
Double Dragon.
We're talking about. I gotta tell you, like, is it weird that I said they might have been one of my favorite acts of the episode?
No, and the reason is, other than the fact that everything, all the choices they made were wrong, they can really freaking sing at least.
I just liked it because it wasn't overproduced. Like, it was straightforward.
Joking, right?
I don't know.
Oh, everything about it was just overproduced. I mean, and all the choices they made were so wrong. The song choice, the outfits, everything was so wrong. But my God, they can sing. And so there's a ton of raw potential with them, at least.
I just liked it because
I can't wait to see how the producers screw it up.
I don't know. I do feel like this is an act that I think the live shows week one, if they get there, I think they're going. I don't even think
they probably won't get there, but
I enjoyed the act because it put a smile on my face, and
that's good.
None of the comedians did. Kind of, it just was one kind of. It was one little moment of like, it's not a sob. Like, it was just kind of a small little happy moment, and kind of what is basically a very emotionally draining a show of TV.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I enjoyed them. Yeah, they're not going far. I think they get cut during the next round, but they were good.
Yeah.
All right. So we move on. Voices of which one is this? Voices of
Our City.
Eric, what did you think?
I was underwhelmed. You go.
It's just we get one of these every season. It's like the exact.
We don't get one of them. We get at least two of them every season.
I don't like watching an act that's like the same thing as last season. Like, they're kind of just. It's like being served the same meal. Like, nothing against them. They are talented. Their story it's sad, but from like a television standpoint, like it's just like watching a rerun. Like, it's the same. You're hitting the exact same beats of the story. It's kind of. But like I said, I am just being a little bit cynical today, honestly. But I can't get invested because it's just I've seen it before.
Yeah, basically. I didn't love it. I mean, I wanted to, but I just didn't, and it's sad. I feel like the producers really do want to quietly win the show at some point. So
it can't happen. Wait,
it's not going to happen with this choir. This choir isn't spectacular enough.
I don't even know I'm just thinking, like, every season we have an act just like this. We have an act just like The Magician. We have an act just like it's.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's nothing against them. It's more just the show itself that's kind of what I have the problem with. Anyway, so that's kind of the first episode. From these 6 acts, like I said, my favorite's probably Double Dragon. What about you?
Malik is mine.
Malik. I have Malik as number 2 for me, honestly. Azad Bilal in the chat says, yo, Azad joins us often for America's Got Talent podcast, so welcome back. It's good to have you. Let's move on to episode 2. So, Eric, the first act we are talking about is the Divas and Drummers of Compton. I think this might have been my favorite act of the second episode. Just looking through it. Yeah.
Not mine, but close for me. I will say, they put on a show. Do they have a chance of winning? No. Did I enjoy it? Yes. Very much yes.
I liked it. It was fun. We have seen similar acts to this in the past, but at least they're fun. At least they're kind of
upbeat, energetic.
Like there's no sob story. It's just fun. Like I don't want to just. Sometimes I just want a fun group that's just going to kind of do something fun and not kind of feel emotionally taxing to kind of watch. And they were fun. It does kind of tick boxes for like the show of what they kind of look for. Like you got the kid, you got like everything's kind of a little bit America's Got Talent as it kind of works. But overall, I enjoyed this one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we move on to Thomas Day. And right away, Eric and I actually started using a Google Doc to kind of share notes for the episode. I wrote for Thomas Day, he looks like someone who would be friends with Logan Paul. He is a TikTok star. He's got how many followers does he have?
I don't know.
A lot. He's a pretty big. He's got a following. But he is singing. What song was it? It was by I think it was. Oh, what was her name?
Julia Michaels, right? Wasn't it?
No. Who sings? This is so bad. Phineas. Phineas was the singer.
I don't even know why was I thinking of Julia Michaels. I'm just so out of it right now.
He's the brother.
Yeah, Billie Eilish.
Of who?
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Logan says, best act of the season so far. I'm crazy, but I'm rooting for him so far. Okay. You can do that. He's performing the Phineas song. What did I think? Of the vocalists this episode, I don't think he was the best, in my opinion. He is performing. Heidi asked him, "Why did you pick the song?" And I was just thinking, because the producers picked it. That I wanted him to answer that question, but in that way, but he just kind of answered it the regular way. What'd you make of Thomas, Eric?
I think he's just okay, but I also know that Simon sees dollar signs, so we're gonna see a lot of him because he's gotten a ton of views on YouTube for it. So
I disagree. I would describe myself as perfectly whelmed. Like it was. If this was an American Idol performance, it would be B minus, in my opinion.
What?
If this was an American Idol performance.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. I mean, it was fine, but he's gonna go far just because of Simon.
I don't think he's my favorite, but if you want to go root for him, no one's stopping you. Go root for whoever you want. Let's talk. Correct me if I'm wrong. We had 2 episodes, and this was the one comedian.
Yeah, the only comedian worth talking about. There was an impressionist too.
Did he make it through?
The impressionist made it through, but he wasn't not my thing. So
Logan says Thomas is better than Benicio.
Nope.
Don't know if I agree with you there. I'm sorry. Also, Azad said Malik used to drum a lot in DC in Chinatown. Now he's on AGT. Crazy to see him here. Yeah, he seems like a cool dude, Malik. For me, what I was saying kind of earlier in the show is I don't know if I can see the show kind of swallowing him with overproduction, or maybe he can kind of thrive in it.
We'll see.
I don't know. It's too early. For Usama Siddiqui, is that how you pronounce his name?
I don't know.
All right, so he is. Compton just gets such a short end of the stick on America's Got Talent. I feel like the first of all, the comedians kind of have to deal with a minute 30 seconds. Their jokes are usually like they're not just taken from like rated R, PG-13. They have to be like rated PG, and it really takes a toll on this on some of these jokes. And he makes a lot of jokes about his name is similar to Osama, and the thing is, it did feel a little bit too much, like he's kind of leaning into that a little bit too much. I'm like,
I didn't think so. I mean, those jokes were obvious, but I like the second half of the set a lot better than the first half. And I laughed a couple times, which is more than I can say for most America's Got Talent comedians. So,
what was the last comedian that actually got you to like genuinely start?
Ryan E. Miller last year.
Of recent memory, the only 4 names that I think that really got me to laugh: Taylor Williamson, Pip the Magic Dragon, Tate Face, and Paul Zerdin. I think are the only 4 that come to mind.
Ryan E. Miller made me laugh a lot.
I still love to this day. I still think that Paul Zerdin performance when he had Howie be a dummy might be the my favorite performance.
Yeah.
What?
That was one of the top 5 best AGT performances ever.
That and like Kenichi's audition, in my opinion, were kind of like the highlight. But you also got to think like Paul Zerdin, when he did that performance, I think he had like 8 minutes. Like it was.
They gave him quite a bit of time, yeah.
And I feel like certain acts should have more time to perform. I truly believe that there should be disparities between, like, if you're a singer, you get 2 minutes. If you're a dance act, 3 minutes. If you're a magician, 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I feel like.
Yeah, we could talk. We've talked about this in the past, and basically, I agree.
Anyway, we got off track a little bit. Usama is he didn't really get me to laugh. I think maybe I like went once, but
I laughed. So I like him.
All right. Azad says, I may be biased because I know Usama, but I loved him. How do you know Usama? How do you know him? Let's move on. We have next Kelvin Dukes. This was our 14-year-old singer, right?
Yep.
So he is performing Ain't No Way, and right away I got a little nervous because I can kind of see where this is going. First of all, I do think he is probably a lock for the finale, in my opinion. I'm gonna probably say that.
Wow.
I would say that because I'm looking at America's Got Talent loves to.
I don't think he goes that far. I think he gets cut round 2 of live shows.
For me, the contestant he was kind of so evocative was Quintavious Johnson a few seasons ago.
Pretty similar.
And because I don't think he picked this song, first off. And
I think he might have actually, but I don't think it was a smart pick.
First of all, I do just want to say, straight out, vocally, pretty damn solid.
Yes.
Like, solid singer. The problem I have is that the show is just going to box him into these old style diva gospel ballads. Yeah. And did Quintavious Johnson make it big afterwards? Well, first of all, he was a kid, but second of all, he was put into a box that isn't marketable post-show. Mm-hmm. And this is not his fault. This is the show's fault to they love to put people in boxes. And I feel like he has been stuck in a box, and I don't like that.
They put the boxes on the ceiling and then make the magician pick one of them.
What was that?
Sometimes they put the boxes on the ceiling and then make the magician pick one of them.
I like that one. The problem I have, like I said, he's another case where another name immediately comes to mind when I see that is that just because America's Got Talent is a show that isn't supposed to be watched as often as we do? Maybe it is a show where you just watch a season and then you go watch Grey's Anatomy or something.
Certainly the producers want us to be watching every episode of every show.
Because that's what it feels like.
Shouldn't be. You're probably right. We shouldn't be. Maybe. Who knows?
Like the show is just built like you're just gonna watch this one season and you're never gonna watch it again. So we're just gonna.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we move on to Roberta Bonaglia. She is our golden buzzer contestant. What is she doing? She's doing "Shallow" by Lady Gaga. And like I said with Kelvin, I just see familiar names kind of coming to my head.
Okay. What I'll say is I think she totally actually deserved the golden buzzer, which is very rare on these shows that a deserving contestant gets the golden buzzer. Got over the top towards the end, like with the bullying and stuff and the story and all that stuff. But at least her talent was really good, in my view.
Okay. I'm going to say this, and Eric, you can correct me if you disagree. I think she gets cut either right before the semifinals or is in the bottom half of the top 10 of the finale. And then if American Idol is still on in 5 years, she's on American Idol.
Maybe. I think she makes the finale, but I'm not sure how far to the finale she makes it.
Wait, this kind of archetype usually makes either it's like they either just miss out on the finale or they're bottom half of the finale.
Honestly, of all the acts from these 2 episodes, she's the only one I was even remotely considering giving my golden buzzer to, because I think she has a shot.
The problem for me is that because I've seen how many girls have ended where they usually end, it kind of negates any ability to get invested because you know, like, where the journey is going to end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably, but who knows? All
right, well, let's talk about our last act of this episode. It is Bonavega, and I wrote in my notes, this is one of those moments like when you're watching a TV show and there's like a really awkward scene. Like, you're watching a TV show, there's always that one scene, and at that exact moment, some Joe Schmo walks into the room and you have to like frantically fumble with the remote to change the channel. Because what the hell was this?
It was Hans 2.0.
I don't even think it was Hans 2.0. Like, Hans at least was like, I would take Hans over him is what I'm saying.
I mean, it's just a different balance of talent versus eccentricity, basically. Hans is less talent, more eccentricity. This guy is more talent, less eccentricity.
I don't know. I was just too distracted to kind of be able to.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I basically wrote, he's a show, but other than that, nothing else really to say.
Eric, who would you say are kind of the major takeaways from this episode, in your opinion?
From the 2 episodes, I think the golden buzzers are the takeaways. And Archie is a takeaway, for good or for bad. And I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some good acts this season. I just want one act that I can kind of get behind and like have some investment. I mean, who won last season? I don't even remember. Last season was Cody?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of the episode and the contestants. What did you think about Sofia Vergara as a judge?
She picked a good golden buzzer, so that's it.
Azon in the chat actually points out something I really. Can you pull it up so that people who are watching it later can see?
Well, we're not editing this, but I'll put it up anyway.
I want to see Seth Ward this season. I loved his act. It was ridiculously stupid. The thing was, it was memorable. And a lot of these people kind of weren't for me. And yet, from last season, that's one of the few names I genuinely still remember. Do I remember who was even like the top 5? I think there was a choir after Cody, but otherwise...
Yes, and my golden buzzer was 3rd.
Ryan came in 3rd?
You don't remember that?
No. I didn't remember Ryan until you said his name. All right. Well, anyway, anything you want to do here to wrap up the podcast, Eric?
Not really. I'm just excited. Hopefully the rest of the season has some more good acts, and hopefully they actually make it through. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Oh, Grace says a student from my school is auditioning at some point, but I'm not sure when. Yeah, there was actually one moment before the show. There was a contestant whose audition was leaked or whatever, or they just kind of had a sneak peek. And there was a cutaway to the audience, and there was freaking a Big Brother contestant, the winner of season 20, randomly in the audience as one of those people who like when they cut away to like there's just like some random person going, I don't know about this. Oh, this doesn't look like it's gonna go well. That was her. That's
when I'm looking forward to the audience's auditions, because I can't do that at that point.
What are they gonna do? They're just gonna have double the close-ups of Howie Mandel going.
Basically, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, only one comedian so far. I love comedy. I love comedy when it's actually good.
We'll see.
America's Got Talent kind of just doesn't. Anything else for the wrap up you want to talk about, Eric, from this episode moving forward in the reality TV world?
We'll be back in 2 weeks. I think we're gonna save Idol for the fall.
Yeah, did we talk about that American Idol got renewed?
Yeah, we did.
Anything else kind of in the...
No.
Nothing? All right, well, I want to say I'm Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at Adam Soapbox. Where can we find you?
Eric Ascher on Twitter, ericascher.com, bit.ly/ericallvids. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, please. We're at 90. We want to get to 100, so I can change the damn URL already.
Yeah, I remember when we were stuck at 30 for like a year, and then we had the Katie Turner interview, who, God bless her, just kind of gave our podcast. So we jumped from like 30 to 60, and then like slowly we were able to kind of get even further, and crossing over to 100 would be a dream.
Yep.
Don't know when that's going to happen, but otherwise, I guess anything else in general, the universe.
See you soon. Stay tuned to our Twitter feeds, and we'll let you know when we're back on.
Yes. I didn't kind of get to talk about this a little bit at the beginning of the show, but Eric kind of gave his perspective. I want to kind of give mine with the Black Lives Matter movement. Like I said, we here at Reality Hour, we stand with the protesters. We agree with there has to be an end to this police brutality. I actually marched with my town, and it's awful, and it has to stop, and it's not cool. And I'm not very good at talking about these kind of things, so Eric kind of took the reins, but I did just want to say that little piece myself. But yeah, other than that, we will be back. We will continue to cover America's Got Talent, because what Reality Hour was created to be was a distraction from bad things that happen outside. It is a way to kind of forget about those things and have fun making fun of Howie Mandel. But we say it kind of in all in good humor a little bit, and kind of if we can make some people feel able to forget kind of the bad things out here and just have a little bit of humor or a moment of kind of relaxation in here, it kind of makes it all worth it.
Yep.
All right. Other than that, we'll be back in 2 weeks for the next 2 episodes of America's Got Talent. Till next time, stay awesome, stay safe. Also, stay inside. The coronavirus is still going on. It's just stay safe. Until next time, peace.